Hello, 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 people. Another episode of The World is Burning. Shout out to all the followers. Keep it coming, guys. Keep the comments coming as well. I love hearing from you guys. This is the channel where we're following the economic crisis and the 2024 collapses. Today, we're back on the thing that grinds my gears the most, shrinkflation. It isn't a trend, it's permanent, and it's going to hit your wallet. Honestly, guys, they're getting cheeky, these companies. Really getting cheeky. They're downsizing everything. Like this Lurpak 20% smaller, Penguin Club biscuit bars 12% smaller, McVitie's digestives 10% smaller. Everything is getting smaller. But there's also a new thing that I've been hearing about, skimpflation. And what this is, they're just using cheaper products, they're using crappier products. So you might have noticed if you're eating things now, things don't taste the same. It's because not only are they reducing the size of things, they're putting worse products in there. And they're also charging you more for it, so they're screwing you on 3 different ways now, and there's not much you can do about it, so let's get into it. I haven't seen any of these videos, guys. Let's see what the hell's going on.
Okay, so there's good news and bad news.
There's no good news.
The good news is not everything tastes worse due to shrink or skimpflation as they're calling it here. The bad news is a lot of things do still taste worse for different reasons. Like salmon tastes so bad lately. And it's because the fish are all getting sick because they're all crammed together because they're skimping on, well, so I guess it's still skimpflation. Because they're skimping on the size of the container.
Even the fish aren't safe, guys.
Instead of boosting their
this
profits
is some of the worst audio I've heard.
It's also just morally, like, they could just not make the species of salmon's life hell on earth before killing them. I'm not vegan, but, like, come on, I don't like what they do to chickens either. They have to de-beak the chickens so they don't themselves. It's really fucked up. Keep them in cages they can't move in. It's like, what are y'all doing? I think that's good for us.
Yeah, brutal out there, guys. Brutal out there.
Well, you know all about inflation, you've heard about shrinkflation. Get ready for the third wave, skimpflation. That's where companies skimp on you by using cheaper ingredients or cutting back on an expensive part of the product without telling you or without cutting the price. And the big example this week is Oreos. They've been accused of putting less cream filling in between the biscuits. So let's have a look. This is what people are upset with. Tell me if you think it makes sense. Now, the amount of cream in the biscuit, they say, has changed. It's a pretty long way away from the edge of the bicky. They reckon it used to be more in there. The actual package size has remained the same, but they're saying the biscuit itself has changed and probably become a little bit cheaper to make. Mondelez makes these biscuits, and the CEO has categorically denied skimpflation. He told the Wall Street Journal, and this is a direct quote, "We would be shooting ourselves in the foot if we started messing with the quality." But here's the problem. The cost of cocoa has gone up 65% in the last year. The cost of sugar up 55%. We're now talking about the highest prices we've seen in decades. Now, Mondelez sells 40 billion of these things around the world every year. So if it can skimp out in any way, it can save a lot of money. So we don't really know, but it seems entirely possible that skimpflation is going to become a bit of a big thing going forward. And that's a problem, because people already don't really trust these companies. They're on edge about being ripped off, and they're on the lookout for this sort of thing. I reckon it's going to become the big battleground in 2024, because it turns out the stakes when it comes to a little bit of cream are actually pretty high.
Yeah, and here's the thing, guys. If they kept the quality same, if they kept everything the same, and they had to put the price up with inflation, I'd understand that. I wouldn't be happy with it, but I'd understand it. The fact that they're making things smaller, putting shittier quality ingredients in, and putting the price up, it's ridiculous. Peter here in the comments, if that's the case, shouldn't the nutritional information be changed on the packaging as well? Yeah, it definitely should. This guy here, it's a lose-lose for any food company. If they put the price up, we complain. They shrink the size and keep the price the same, we complain. Yeah, it is a lose-lose for the companies, but at the end of the day, they're not just doing one of these things. If they put the price up, like I said, if they put the price up and keep it the quality the same, I'm not going to complain. I get it. That's how the world works. But when you're doing all these things at the same time, it's ridiculous.
Shrinkflation's not being talked about enough. We've gotten to a point where not only
Ridiculous.
things are like quadruple the price, but they're also giving us half the product. They try to hide it in the most like small, minute ways, but you can always tell. Even if they're just skimming a little bit off the top, they'll do anything to make that extra little bit of profit. Even fast food has cut back so much, I can eat an entire McDonald's cheeseburger in one bite if I really wanted to. Not just the size or the quantity of things, it's also the quality. Restaurants, grocery stores, fast food places, it doesn't matter. Things taste different to me. Vegetables, meat, fruit, everything. There's something about it that just tastes off. Like chicken and beef. It's just disrespectful at this point. They really think we're stupid. And the thing is, I don't know if it's ever going to go back to normal. The fact that they've made record profits fooling people like this and we still buy it because we have to kind of tells me that this is never going to change. If it always comes down to quality or people over price and money being made, they're always going to choose the money being made. I swear, there was a time where you could go to the store or go to McDonald's with like $3 and feed yourself for at least a day.
But what's definitely not is shrinkflation's scarier cousin, skimpflation.
Skimpflation is when a company uses cheaper parts or cheaper ingredients to stabilize the price of their product, and I have an insane example for it. Enter the Nutella conspiracy of 2015. My name is Kaylani, and I'm a writer exploring history and culture through the lens of food. So if you enjoy deep dives like the one we're about to go down, follow along. So it's 2015, and large players on the international candy scene are all dealing with environmental and social situations that are putting pressure on raw materials for their products. We're talking Hershey, we're talking Germany's Rittersport, and we're talking about Ferrero, the parent company of Nutella. First up, hazelnuts. At the time, Turkey was producing about 75% of the world's supply of hazelnuts. But after a few harsh winters in a row, hazelnut crops were suffering, which caused the price of hazelnuts to more than double. At the same time, there were a lot of problems with cacao production. A lot of large chocolate companies get their cacao from West Africa. And in 2015, West Africa was dealing with an Ebola outbreak. This is where skimpflation comes into play. Hershey and Rittersport didn't want to sacrifice the quality of their product, so they didn't change their recipe. Instead, they raised their prices upwards of 8%. However, Nutella's prices remained the same, and the whole industry was like, how is this possible? The only way that they could keep the same prices is if they changed their recipe. But Ferrero was insistent that they did not change their recipe. 2 years later, the Hamburg Consumer Protection Center puts Nutella on blast with this lengthy report about how, yes, they did change their recipe. They increased the powdered milk, they increased the sugar, and they reduced the fat content slightly, likely in an effort to pull back on how much cacao they were using. As you can see here, there's the new Nutella, which is a little bit lighter than the old Nutella. Nutella eventually fessed up and they're like, okay, yeah, we fine-tuned the recipe a bit. But when did they do this and to what extent did they tweak their recipe? It's still really unclear. The world may never know.
Yeah, we'll never know, guys. Some of this stuff we will never ever get to the bottom of. All we know is quality's getting worse, prices are going up, it's not good.
Will it really matter? Warrior fans on social media.
What in the skimpflation? So shrinkflation is when you used to get 3 Reese's peanut butter cups in a package. Now you only get 2, but it costs the same. Skimpflation is when they change out the ingredients to cheaper ingredients without changing the price.
Yeah,
so
everyone's
it's a little
noticing
bit
this, guys.
more sneaky and often harder to spot. So the example here is somebody compared Quaker Dips granola bars, and the old packaging says that the bars had a milk chocolate coating made with cocoa butter. But now it has a chocolatey coating, which is made with the much cheaper alternative and less environmentally sound palm oil. Nothing. Not even chocolate dipped granola bars are safe in this economy. It does seem like one easy way to spot skimpflation is the language that the product is using. You know, chocolate coating, real. Chocolatey coating, trying to pull one over.
Yeah.
Skimpflation.
And this isn't going to stop, guys. They're putting palm oils in it. They're going to use thickening agents and all this stuff that's not good for you. It's poison. And they're going to still expect you to pay the same.
These are some of the crazy.
So I've talked about inflation, shrinkflation, and now we have what's referred to as skimpflation. Now don't be confused by the word. I know they're using all these quirky phrases nowadays, but this is important. This is a subtle yet slick strategy that many producers use by using cheaper ingredients to produce the same product without actually having to change the price, and so they're effectively skimping on the bill. And the value of your dollar goes down since you're getting a lower quality product for the same price. Now, although these tactics sound minor, it's important to note that these strategies do pose potential health risks. For example, if companies start using lower quality artificial sweeteners as an alternative. Overall, as you go into the holiday season, just be mindful about what you're consuming. Don't always consume what you're being fed.
And here's the thing, guys. We're already at the sickest levels we've been in life. You know, we're not healthy anymore on a whole. And now they're putting all this extra shit in these products. It's just not going to end well. We'll do one more and then we'll get out of here. But leave me a comment, guys. I want to know, have you noticed this skimpflation? Is shrinkflation grinding your gears like it winds me up?
Toronto-based TikToker is revealing the realities of shrinkflation.
Shrinkflation, yes. The user Toy Soldier Marketing shows common projects and how manufacturers have cut costs by making them smaller. These side-by-side comparisons really telling the tale here. Packages may be redesigned with small changes to the proportions, or there may be less of the product in the same container. Friend of the show, Sylvain Charlebois, researcher, professor in food distribution at Dalhousie University, agrees the issue's on the rise, but says this is not a new tactic, and that's true. I mean, for years and years, whether it's chocolate bars, bags of chips, bags of air, I sometimes call them, especially those Halloween bags.
Yeah, I call them bags of air as well. They're the most ridiculous of all this. But yeah, we'll finish it on this comment. Yes, but the problem is they still raise the prices. And that's it in a nutshell, guys. So leave me a comment. Really want to hear from you guys. How are you finding this shrinkflation, skimpflation nonsense? And I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.